Hello and welcome to the Untitled Connect YouTube video taking a look at online training and online counselling, specifically the difficulties and the factors to consider when counselling online and how that impacts training and training online as well, and also the benefits of perhaps undertaking some of your training online as it better prepares you for online counselling. And if you do like this video, then please like and subscribe at the bottom of the screen. We are going to be producing many videos over the coming months, taking a look at insights into the counselling industry and also about various different counselling topics. And so please visit the website www.astranticonnect.com. And before we begin looking at online training and online counselling, just want to give a brief overview of factors that you need to consider, or some important things to consider when choosing an online course provider, because there is a difference between online courses in the counselling world, and that can have a direct impact not only on the training that you receive, but also on your ability and the likelihood of achieving your BACP membership. And when you are looking for online providers, you'll often see that some offer a mixed approach of both face-to-face counselling training in a classroom and also online. You may find that there are some that only offer online, and you may also find some that offer home study courses. Now, home study course is a bit different to an online class. In a home study course, essentially you'll be watching pre-recorded materials, reading through study texts, etc. Now, very important thing to consider there is that home study, so what they call asynchronous training, where you're not with your peers, you're not with the tutor at the same time learning the same thing, is not considered formal training according to BACP. And therefore, if you do undertake a home study course where you're not in a classroom together, be it in an actual physical classroom or online together with your peers, with the tutor, it will not count as formal training, and therefore you're likely to struggle to be accepted onto a level 4 course, and you'll also be unlikely to be accepted as a member of BACP or NCS. So it's very important to make sure that you are undertaking formal online training if you choose to do online training, because it's not about learning content, it's not about learning theory, it's not like accounting, it's not like other theoretical academic based qualifications. It's a practical assessment. Counselling training is all about practical experience, it's all about practical knowledge, it's all about building relationships. And so for your own sake and also for the sake of your future clients, you must be trained properly. And if you do want a bit more information on how to choose the right training provider for you, whether that's online, whether that's a classroom, we do have a Counselling Insight document based on that and all the things that you need to consider. So if you would like to read that, you can find that on our website and follow this link here. If you want a link to this particular page here, it will be in the bio of the video, so please look at that in the bio. And it's worth noting that you must undertake plenty of research when you pick the right provider for you, and whether you want to do an online course, whether you want to do a classroom-based course. The big thing to consider is whether it is synchronous learning, whether it is everyone together at the same time. And if you want to go down the online route, you must make sure that that is the case. And if you would like to assess the various different CPCAB online courses that are available, there is a list of approved providers and approved online courses in their website directory. So you can find that on the CPCAB website. So with that in mind, let's take a look now on whether you can actually undertake the profession of counselling online and what that means for your online training. And the answer to this question is yes, you can. It's always been around, but particularly given the COVID-19 pandemic, it has increased dramatically. Not only has the amount of people undertaking counselling online increased dramatically, but the amount of people wanting counselling has increased dramatically due to a lot of stresses, a lot of issues that have come up during the pandemic. So a lot of counselling moved online, a lot more people were sourcing counselling when the pandemic was on, and particularly sourcing counselling online because, of course, they couldn't do it in person because of the pandemic. And it's here to stay as well. A study recently conducted by BACP, and again, you can find this on our website, found that 91% of therapists have said they are going to continue counselling online in some way, shape, or form after the pandemic. And a further 82% of them claiming they believe this has made counselling more accessible to the public due to perhaps to the lower costs, due perhaps to the fact that they can do it in their own home. They feel more safe and secure. They don't want to be going out to counselling training, particularly if they have anxiety and other things that perhaps mean they don't want to be going out into the public. So in short, counselling online is very popular. It's becoming more popular, and it is here to stay. So what that means is that you need to be prepared to counsel online. You need to learn the various different skills that you need to counsel online and how these are perhaps slightly different than counselling face-to-face. There are different challenges counselling online, and it's important that you are aware of that and that you react to that so that you can provide excellent counselling online as well. And you'll be pleased to know that there are plenty of CPCAB courses to teach you about counselling online, and also you can take online, because if you learn your training online, you'll be naturally applying some of those skills, some of those theories online as well in your practical exercises. So it gives you a good head start in counselling online if you do some of your training online. And you can do CPCAB level 2 and level 3 online, and also part of your CPCAB level 4, which is your big core practitioner course, part of that can be taken online as well. And there's actually sections within that teach you how to counsel online. In fact, here at Starting to Connect, we've been teaching that for the past couple of years, and going forward, other providers are going to be doing that too, as the syllabus has been updated to include it. So it's very important that you are aware of that. It's very important that you're aware of the importance of counselling online, and that you're going to have to learn how to counsel online. And before I would talk through some of the various different challenges of counselling online and how doing your training, conducting your training, or at least part of your training online helps prepare you for this. So the first thing that we've got here is body language. Now, a huge proportion of communication is actually body language. In fact, up to 70-80% of communication is through body language. So when you are counselling someone online, unless it's a full body screen, which is a very unlikely, usually it's just basically head and shoulders, you're missing a lot of the body language in terms of their body. But of course, you can still look at the emotions, etc., on someone's face. So being trained to recognize certain subtleties in their expressions, etc., is very, very important when you are counselling online. So again, by counselling, doing your counselling training online, you're doing lots of your practical sessions online, you're going to be picking up on this non-verbal communication, perhaps a lot more than if you were conducting your training in person, where you have the whole body to gauge the body language. So interpreting those other different signs instead of body language, such as changes in their tone, changes in their expression, etc., is very, very important. That's a skill that you'll develop when conducting your counselling training online, and that will help you to be an effective online counsellor in the future. Some people often feel that it's harder to build trust and convey caring and building that relationship as effectively when you're doing it online, when it's just a face on a screen rather than seeing someone in person, having that actual face-to-face contact. So given that that is a challenge, in your online training you will also be taught how to build that relationship online as well. So that is very, very important. A fundamental part of being an effective counsellor is being able to build an effective relationship with your clients. So if you are going to be counselling online, again, it can be very difficult, very important, to ensure that you have undertaken at least a portion of your training online so that you help to learn those skills to build a relationship online. And of course, something that is only really relevant when you are training online or conducting counselling sessions online versus in a classroom is technical issues. And interruptions can make things very difficult. If you're in the middle of a session and it's very emotional and then you've got technical difficulties, that can make things a lot harder. And of course, if you're in a face-to-face situation, you're not going to be faced with that. That's only something you'll get online. Suddenly your Skype or your Zoom, the communication is affected by the fact that the connection is lost, or suddenly they start and their face starts jagging around because the communication connection is so weak. These are things that you only face online. So it's very important that, again, you make sure that when you are communicating with someone about how you're going to be counselling them online, that you ensure that they are in a location where they can be private, you're in a location where the signal is strong, etc. So all these other things that don't affect the counselling session. Can also make it very difficult to respond to a crisis. For example, if someone is very suicidal or something like that, when you're in person, you can make an action there and then to stop them from doing something or to calm them down, etc. But when they're online, when they could be the other side of the country and they're saying, oh, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, you can't stop me, etc. How do you respond to that situation? When you're on the other end of a computer screen on the other side of the country, you can't necessarily physically help them or physically intervene in that instance. So what you have to do is make sure that you have got emergency contact details of that person before you undertake the counselling online, so that you can contact someone who can physically intervene. So these are all issues that are perhaps a bit more unique to online counselling, and ones that you as counsellors or you as trainee counsellors, or if you're even a qualified counsellor already that's looking to start counselling online more and more, things that you are aware of. And so it's very important that you at least do something to make sure that you know how to respond or how to deal with these challenges. So if you're a trainee counsellor, perhaps it's taking some of your training online, making sure you do your level 2 and level 3 online so that you learn some of these, how to respond to some of these challenges before you take your level 4. If you're taking your level 4, that it does include some degree of online training to help you with this. And if you are a qualified counsellor already, perhaps that you undertake a CPD course that is exploring the difficulties and the challenges, but also the benefits and other ways to work with clients when you are working online. But it's very important that you do so because there is a rising trend in online counselling. More and more people want to undertake counselling online, and more people want to undertake counselling. So there's going to be a huge increase in that. And if you want to be a successful professional counsellor, you're going to need to have to attract some online clients. You're going to have to need to deal with some online clients. So it's very important for you and your career that you are aware of these challenges and that you have prepared yourself to deal with them. So what this means for counselling training online is that counselling courses that are effective counselling courses, that means they are synchronous, means that they are formal training done in a more classroom environment, albeit online, but you're still there with all your peers, with your tutor at the same time, are a very effective alternative to learning in person. And also, particularly for the level 2 and 3, the lower levels, they are formal training. They are considered formal training. They can help gain you BACP qualifications, CPCAB qualifications, etc. Although, please be aware that the level 4 cannot be taken fully online, so be wary of any provider that's offering you that. But also be wary of any online provider that's offering you home study courses, because these are not considered to be formal training and thus will not help you to get your BACP or your NCS membership. And so what we would recommend is that you do undertake a portion of your counselling training online if there are no suitable particularly if there are no suitable centres near you for your level 2 and 3. and then undertake your level 4 in person. And this means that you are gaining the full experience. You're getting that in-person experience on your full course that will allow you to get your BACP membership, but you're also learning some of the skills that will help you to be an effective online counsellor, because both online counselling training and online counselling are growing trends. So even if it's not the primary form of counselling at the moment, perhaps online counselling is not as big as counselling in person, it's a growing trend, which means that the trend for people doing it online is increasing, and the trend for people doing it in person is perhaps decreasing, more and more people moving online. So when you're thinking about the future, let's say you're in your studies now, you're training to be a counsellor, in 5 years' time, it could be that a huge proportion of counselling is done online. And then in 10 years' time, maybe an even bigger proportion. In 15 years' time, all counselling is going to be done online. So you need to think about the future as well, and think about how you can get a head start by ensuring that you are an effective online counsellor. And undertaking your training online is a great way to do that. So if you do have any questions about online training, if you do actually have any comments as well, perhaps you feel there are other issues with online counselling, other difficulties that I haven't mentioned there, and also if there are ways in which you feel you've overcome those difficulties. Perhaps you're an online counsellor and you think, oh yes, I recognise those, but I dealt with them in this way, that way, etc. Then please do post those comments below. It'd be really useful for everyone else watching this video. And please also like and subscribe, and take a look at the other videos that we've got as well, looking at online training, look at qualifications, and also the process of becoming a counsellor, very useful. And please subscribe, because we're going to be producing lots more content on counselling insights and also on various different counselling theories, etc. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you again soon.